In this example video, we're going to look at review exercises 14-6 and 14-7. So in exercise 14-6, it says on January 1st, the authorization date, the Temple Company issued 500,000 of 9% bonds at 103. These bonds pay interest on June 30th and December 31st, and they want us to prepare the journal entry to record the issuance of the bonds. So on January 1st, they tell us that we are issuing bonds, and we know we issue bonds in order to receive cash. So in this case, we don't have to calculate the selling price in terms of using our present value tables. They're telling it as an expression of a percentage. So 103 means 103% of that face value. So our face value is at 500,000, and it's at 103% of that value. So 500,000 times 1.03, we're going to get $515,000 in cash. Remember, your bonds payable still can only go on for the face value, so it still goes on at 500,000, which means in this case, we have a premium on bonds payable for the 15,000. It can say that it's at 98% or 97%. That would indicate a discount because it's selling for 97% of the face value, so less than that face value. In review exercise 14-7, it says, using that information from above, except assume that Temple is going to issue the bond on March 1st at par plus accrued interest. And they want us to prepare the journal entries to record the issuance of the bond and adjust interest expense for accrued interest and the first semi-annual interest payment. So we're going to do two different entries. So instead of issuing it at the start of the year, which is right at the end, or the beginning rather, before they get into another interest payment time. So they did an interest payment on December 31st. They're selling them the next day. So there's no interest that has accrued because it was just paid out. So we are going to get cash, and they told us that we're selling it at par, which means we're selling it at face value. So we're selling the bond for 500,000. But we're also selling it for 500,000 plus any accrued interest. So we're selling it as of March 1st. So 500,000 face value times our interest rate of 9% times how many months have passed since the last interest payment. So the previous last interest payment was made on December 31st. So January 1st through January 31st, and then February 1st all the way through the end of February. So 2 months have been earned. So we're going to do that by 2/12. So that means that in total, we are selling this bond for $507,500. Again, the bonds payable has to go on our books at the face value. And they were told us to adjust interest expense. So we are actually going to credit, which seems very odd, I know, but we're going to credit our interest expense because when we actually do the semi-annual payment on June 30th, that's going to automatically adjust for how many months the bond was actually in the hands of a bondholder. So on June 30th, we actually have to issue some cash out for interest. So we have interest expense, again, 500,000 face value times the 9% interest, and it's semi-annual, so we're going to cut it in half. So we're actually sending the bondholder $22,500, and we're going to credit our cash for the same amount. So now when we look at it, we're basically paying back the bondholder for that $7,500 in interest for the 2 months that they weren't the bondholder. We're kind of paying them back for that and giving them back the remaining amount of interest that was owed to them for being the bondholder for that 4 months.